There we go. Can you guys hear me? I'm going to go ahead and put on a little Hebrew, Psalms 121, sung in Hebrew. Can everybody hear me? Let me know when you guys that you guys can hear me and everything. Beautiful. Okay. Give everyone a chance to kind of come in real quick. Living in some beautiful times, family. It's time for us to come in and give some praise to the Most High. Thanking Him for all the blessings that He's given us right now, all this knowledge and understanding the Most High has given us. Absolutely beautiful times right now. Shalom, shalom, family. Good seeing everyone. All praises. It's beautiful seeing so many people here already. Beautiful. From this time forth and even forevermore. Good seeing you, Ancient Gardener. Thank you for being here. Thank you to the moderators. Oh, we got some family from Eastvale around here. All right. Nice. Get a little smoke bath going on right now. Burning some copal. So burning some of this right here. Still gonna wait a little bit longer, get some more people in here, give you guys a chance to have some time to kind of just spend some time together here. Let me just rewind this real quick. Yeah, right here. So you get some charcoal in there, and then you put a little copal in there. Take it around the house. Open up the windows. Get those spirits out the house. Charging up those stones. It smells wonderful.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and declare forevermore.
I got it at the powwow last weekend. That's where I got the copal from. I'm not sure exactly where else you can get it from. The guy has a spot on Instagram. I'll check to see if I can put his information, his Instagram link, where you can order it, because I think he's from actually up in Northern California. eBay has it. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Warrior Princess of Yah. I appreciate you. Okay, beautiful. You already found some on eBay. Beautiful. Okay. What's wrong? Give everybody a chance to kind of come in. It's more so for us to spend some time together, review some information, share some information with each other, concentrate on the positive things that are going on right now. We've been inundated with nothing but negative. It's time to actually talk about the positive things the Most High is doing right now. I see Brother Big Levi is going live right now as well. Beautiful. Beautiful. All blessings to him as well. He's doing the work of the Most High as well. Yes, Queen Mommy, just gotta keep those frequencies up high. I'll pause this real quick here. Like I said, this is a time for us to come together and, like I said, share positive frequencies and positive vibes with each other. I said because we get inundated all day long with nothing but negative stories, negative information. The news is pretty much nothing but negative at all times, which definitely helps to keep the frequencies down. And that's exactly what they've been trying their best to do, is keep the frequencies down this whole time. Something that in my studies recently. Hold on. And then something that I've noticed quite a bit, like I said, is like how important language is, and how we cast a lot of spells on ourselves, not even knowing it, through the English language and the things that we say. That whole thing with the whole good morning, is huge, because you're pretty much every day casting spells on each other, or telling you to, enjoy your state of mourning at all times. And our brains don't. Someone was talking about how our brains are in darkness all the time. So, and they're pretty much dependent upon the senses in order to get information. And our brain doesn't necessarily just focus on the way that we break things down, or how we've been taught certain things. Just like looking at words backwards, looking at numbers, taking all those kinds of things in. Our brain is like a huge computer, and doing quite a bit of working things out. It figures things out from right to left, left to right, up, down, numbers. It's doing a lot of things subconsciously that we are totally unaware of. But that's why it's really important to, I think, for us to try to get back to our original language, our original languages as well. And something that I've been, I went through my studies, talking about how we read, the ancient languages read from right to left, not left to right. And the whole thing with the reading from left to right, like we've been taught with English, is to pretty much activate the left side of our brain. And the right side of the brain is more feminine, but it's also more creative, the more creative side. The left side is more like the scientific, dominant, male dominant side of the brain. And everything has been like switched up. And if you remember in the Bible how it says that at the end, in order to come back to the Most High, you have to become as a child again. And if you become as a child again, that would mean to pretty much have to relearn everything, because everything we've been taught has been a bunch of lies, correct? Right? So, and that would actually, if you think of it, even with our language we've been taught to read from left to right. And if the ancient languages were right to left, in order to activate the right side of our brains, that actually goes to scriptures as well. The Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, actually goes from right to left. And it's also a lot of numerology. The letters in the Hebrew actually correspond with numbers, but actually so do the letters in English. The English letters also have go with numerology, but it's all backwards. Once you understand that this whole language here in America, the English language is pretty much all set up for commerce. It's set up for money. It's set up for set up for money, set up for commerce. And when we activate the left side of our brains, we are working more like on like making things for all about competition. The left side is all about, whoever wins, whoever has the most toys at the end of life wins. But if we use the more of the right side of our brain, then we're more concentrating on cooperation and working together, and for the good of the whole group. And that's something that this society has been against the whole time. So therefore, that's why they make everything backwards. That's why they make us, start, looking at the left side of our brain and going forward. So that's exactly why it's been so important to the awakening wasn't just the Bible and getting understanding as far as the Bible is concerned. That's a beautiful thing. We've been blessed with that. We have great knowledge and understanding as far as the scriptures are concerned. We understand who the scriptures were given to. We understand who the scriptures are about. We understand that who prophecy revolves around. We get that. And now it's even more than that. It's also our language is important, because even, like I said, showing how deep this is, you know, because that's a huge bridge was given to us with Acts 29. That was a huge bridge because, you know, there's a lot of information from Paul. They always love to talk about Paul in the Bible, I mean, in the churches, but they give you very little information about like where he was going to, who he was talking to, who he was communicating with. And I mean, the whole fact that they, if you do some research about Acts 28 and Acts 29, people talk about, especially like a lot of their theologians talk about how Acts 28 seems to just stop very abruptly. Like it doesn't seem like it was completed. And when you do some research, you're going to hear like that's what a lot of theologians would say. Like if something was missing, and it shouldn't, the Acts should not have stopped. It's at Acts 28. And then when the Most High gave us back to Acts 29, and then you start to realize that he was talking to the Druids, and he actually realized that the Druids were actually the brothers and sisters of the Hebrews. Now that all that information is now brought into focus. All of that is brought into focus. And it was funny because this guy left a comment talking about the white Irish. It was, I took a picture of it. I'm not sure if I have it right here, but it was pretty funny. I responded back to the guy, but I don't have it on right here. But it's pretty much, he was talking about how the white Irish were enslaved and they were taken in. So it wasn't just us that went into slavery and this and that. And I had to laugh, and I said, yeah, the white Irish, huh? Kind of like the white British, kind of like the white French, kind of like the white Mexicans, kind of like the white Cubans, kind of like the white Americans. I said, all those are all nothing but a bunch of bywords. I said, who were the people that were in all these lands originally? It doesn't matter, you know, who's there today, because those weren't the ones that were in these lands originally. You can look at America alone and realize that. You can look at South America. You can look at Central America. You can look at Mexico. You know, I said many of the people that are there today aren't necessarily the indigenous peoples that were there thousands of years ago. You start looking at South America. You start looking at Peru. And you start looking at the fact that the people that they're showing you today are not the original people that were in all these lands. And the fact that the guy was talking about the white Irish, and it's always like the same kind of thing, you know, yeah, you know, they wasn't talking about you because you guys aren't Irish. I said, yeah, neither are you. So it doesn't really matter. I said, everyone in the world has been duped. Everyone in the world has been lied to. It's not just us. You know, a lot of other people who have put their faith into, you know, that they've been told the truth. Says they're scared to actually do any research as well, because if they do any kind of research, you know, they're going to realize really quickly that a lot of the things that they believe, the things that they've been taught, are lies. So like I said, it's not just us that have been lied to. I said it's been many of the other people as well. And that's why here at the end, you know, they're going to realize that they've been lied to about everything. And they're going to have to relearn everything. Why do you know, in the scriptures it talks about how all the other nations are going to come to the Israelites. Why is that? Why are they going to have to come to the Israelites at the end? Because they're going to realize that all the other nations, all the people that they put their faith in, have been lying to them this whole time. You know, I said, so they're going to have to go to someone who the Most High is dealing with, and that's how it's always been, right? The Most High has a set apart people, a holy people, right? And they're set apart, and they're the ones that communicate back and forth with the Most High. The other nations come to those people, and then they get the truth. They get understanding. They get that's how they get, or that's how they're getting. You know, in order to get the truth or whatever else, they have to go to these certain people. Well, for such a long time, as we were going through our curses, and we weren't, you know, we didn't have that connection with the Most High. Remember, the Most High said he's going to turn his face away from us. So once he turned his face away from us, we didn't have that connection with the Father anymore. So therefore, we didn't have understanding. So therefore, you other nations don't have any understanding as well. You see what I'm saying? So while we were going through our punishment, it's kind of like a car that's you know, going down the road with no driver. because the ones that the Most High communicates with, the ones that He, gives knowledge and understanding to, they were going through the curses. So as they were going through the curses, no one had any real understanding. You had the other nations who had our books, who had our information, but they had no understanding. So therefore, that's why now you got it. Like they have a lot of our books, they have a lot of our information, but they don't have any understanding. And that's why they set up a lot of these stories from the Bible as if that's the only way you can understand it. There's a much deeper understanding, because just like we talked about with the raven and the constellations. Did you guys realize that during the time of Ptolemy, there were actually 48 constellations? And there's a book called Ptolemy's Armagest, and it was actually talking about how there was 48. There was 48 zodiacs or constellations. But see, later on, they went ahead and just, seems like what they did was they tried to hide, 36 of them, and they just pretty much have been pushing the 12. But a long time ago, there was actually 48, and that goes with the decans and the 3 decans for each zodiac sign. That would get you up to your 48. So they're constantly taking out more and more information. So they're constantly taking out more information in order to give less and less understanding. But you kind of understand why, because if they don't understand it, if they give you the information, they don't want you questioning them, because if you start asking them questions, they're not going to be able to actually answer you. So it's just best for them to just hide information. And and if you look, they did the same thing even recently. See, before we had all these planets, and then they took away Pluto, right? Because they know that Pluto actually has a lot of significance in end times prophecy. So what did they do? They just, because they can't they don't want you to understand that Pluto is pretty much going to tell on them. They don't want you to realize that Pluto is actually going to be a huge sign of their demise. So what did they do? Instead of wanting to tell people that, they just said, Pluto's not a planet anymore. Pluto's not a planet because they can't explain to you that how Pluto, is a sign. Like when they came into power and they signed the Declaration of Independence, Pluto was over the Americas, correct? And then it was gone for a certain amount, a couple hundred years, and now it came back to that same spot, which now means that their reign and then their control over here and in the Americas is over with. So they got their opportunity to rule, and it was based off of the position of Pluto. And then they signified the return of Pluto was signified their loss of power here in the Americas. But since they don't want people to realize that, they just said now at the end that Pluto's not a planet anymore. But you see, like that has been very consistent, that they would just constantly take whatever is going to be a negative sign for them or against them. They just want to go ahead and just say all of a sudden that those things are not legitimate anymore. So now that makes sense as to why, like a lot of the books in the Bible, they say, oh, we don't condone, or we don't, we're not going to canonize these books because, we don't agree with these books. Well, that would make more sense as to why they don't agree with those books, because they can't explain them. And I'm sure many of them are going to actually herald the demise of the other nations and their power and their control over us as a people and over this world. You see? It's very consistent. Once you kind of see the game plan, then you can see how you can see what they're doing, and you can kind of see, you can just, it's much easier to see, because it's not like they're really complicated. It's not like they're the Most High. The Most High is complicated. The Most High is, he goes on, he's infinite. You can never learn everything about the Most High. But, the adversaries, I says they're you can figure them out at times. It's not, especially when you have the Holy Spirit showing you, open up your eyes and showing you so many things right now. He says it's like I said, it's a beautiful time, and actually I think we need to kind of come in together and talk about the positive things that are going on. See, when you look at the news, everything's always negative. Oh, this war. Oh, this with Putin. Oh, this with Ukraine. I have not even watched the news in the last couple weeks. You know, I said, we have not even looked at the news or any other information. I've been too busy looking at what the Most High has given us. Too busy looking at, trying to learn more of our sacred languages from before. Because I feel personally that that's where a lot of the power is. The power is in, the spirit, of course, but in sound, talking about the megahertz 5. What you're going to understand is that all these megahertz, when you actually start to add the numbers up together, they go back to 3, 6, 8, or 9. Mostly 3, 6, and 9. Okay, because these sounds are very important. These sounds and these frequencies helped us to restore our bodies. They help to restore our thinking, our brains. They restore different parts of our body. They restore us emotionally. They restore us physically. Like, I've been listening to a lot of 528 megahertz, especially like at night. We've been listening to that. It's got like water in it. And I would say 528. And if you add up the numbers, 5, 2 and 8 equals 15. And then with the 15, you add the 1 and the 5, and that gives you 6. That right there goes with the 3, 6, and 9s. Okay? We're going to get into something because math is very important. And it goes back to the Vitruvian man. And we're going to get into that as well. These people have got our information, and they just plop their pictures into these into this information and make it seem like it's theirs. You start looking at was it 714, the 714 frequency. That there again, you add 7 plus 1 plus 4 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. So it goes back to the 3. A lot of the 3, 6, and 9, and it talks about the whole thing with our DNA and making the whole circular kind of thing with our DNA and everything else. Like I said, I'm getting into a lot more of this math and information and understanding. I said, because like I said, there's a lot more to this. Meditate, exactly. Meditating with this information, with these numbers, with these sounds, these frequencies. I said it all plays into our mental health, our spiritual health, and then it actually, then it comes out and manifests in our physical, sacred geometry. Exactly. Like I said, this information is ours. And it's a beautiful thing how the Most High made them keep our information, because as long as we thought it was theirs, we would feel like we had to go to them in order to get understanding. We just have to go to the Most High. The Most High is going to give each of us the understanding that we need, and give us the understanding that we need in order for us to it said in order for us to improve ourselves, in order for us to come back to the Most High, in order for us to be able to heal ourselves. And I'm sure numbers are so important. The Most High, yeah, a whole book after it. You're right, and a whole book of numbers after them. Correct. When you start adding a lot of these numbers together, you're gonna see there's gonna be a lot of 3s, 6s, 9s, and also 8, because 8 would be the number of infinity as well. You're good. You come on. You can go through. So yeah, I'm out here in the garage, relaxing and hanging out with the family and everything else. Be careful with the dogs, okay? And I'm checking out some of your guys' comments right now. Breath opening dimensions, definitely. Like I said, just when you think about in the Bible, when we were walking around the city 7 times, and then we shouted and brought down the walls of Jericho. I said, again, that was all about sound. The whole thing with 144. 144 breaks down to 9. 4 plus 4 plus 1, 9. I said there's all these other, there's much deeper meanings. There's a lot of numerology in the Bible. You start actually adding these numbers up and getting information. There's all these patterns with the numbers and how they repeat themselves. Yep, 111 and 3. Resonance, exactly. And just like David, it goes into music as well. David and the harp. And remember now, the harp creates certain frequencies, right? And the what was it? The Druids had the harp as like one of their main emblems. So again, going back to sound and how important sound is. And see, if you're only stuck in the Bible and you're only looking at it from one perspective, you're only looking at the stories and everything else, all this other secret information and deeper information is actually left out and no one really even talks about it. Exactly, Sue Saul, because remember, like there was that demon that was tormenting him and the sounds and the frequencies actually helped Saul. Exactly. That's why this information is so so much more important. And this is why we should be actually thanking the Most High. You know, I said, because he's given us this information and understanding again. And I was cracking up because someone left a comment. He goes, "Oh, Big Judah, I used to think that you were a prophet." I said, "But now I just listen to your videos in the middle of the night because they help me when I have insomnia." I'm like, "Oh, okay, we got jokes." I'm like, "That's cool." I said, "You're still listening though, aren't you? You're still here. You're still listening, you know?" But it just, like I said, the Gentiles, even if it's even a real person, who even knows and who cares? You know, I said the Most High is giving us an opportunity to renew our minds, to get our information, understanding back, you know, and the more that we read, the more that we study, the better it's going to be for us. You know, hey, I could take a joke. Hey, it's cool. My family cracks up all the time. You know, because I guess my voice is really soothing and it puts them to sleep. My son made a joke years ago about that. With one of his, he made like a little cartoon. And it was like, "Hey, this is Big Judah," and all of a sudden, like he was like a SpongeBob, and now everybody just fell asleep as soon as I started my video. Everybody just falls asleep. So I was like, "Hey, dude, that's cool. No big deal." I said, maybe that's what Most High changing the frequencies. If you actually listen to my older videos, I do sound much different than I do now. So who knows? That could be just the Most High just changing the frequency of my voice in order to, you know, have people listen, or maybe some people that aren't supposed to hear this, maybe it makes them leave. You know, I said that was something the Most High has been in control of. But yes, I know that my voice sounds much different. If you go to my older videos compared to now, my voice is much different. And I didn't do anything to change it. Like I said, that's all the Most High. That's all the Father, you know. To call some, using that certain voice, you know, to call some and to repel others. You know, I said, so trust me, it called the people who are supposed to hear it, they're here. The ones that aren't supposed to hear it, trust me, it's going to repel them. And that's good, because they're not supposed to be here in the first place. Very white voice. Yeah, right. Oh, man. Oh, thank you. Thank you. But like I said, you start thinking about the scriptures and, you know, I'm going to do some other videos because like I said, you know, when you understand what's going on and you understand that everything here is backwards, like when you start to look at movies, like I'm looking at that one, the Pope's Priest or the Pope's Exorcist movie. You know, you can pull out so much information from these movies, you know. I said, because if you've read other books, you will understand what they're trying to say, because there's always these hidden meanings in these videos. And something I thought I was telling my wife I wanted to share with you guys. They were talking about, you know how like the demons, like I guess like a sign of being controlled by a demon is like when someone can speak a language that they never knew before. You guys remember that, or you guys heard about that before? Like that's a sign of like demonic activity or demonic possession, right? When slow jams. You guys are cracking me up. Okay, hold on. I gotta concentrate here. But like that's one of the signs of demon possession, right? Was when like someone can speak a language that like they never knew before, like all of a sudden, right? Well, if you've read any of the other books, I want to say it was probably in Jasher. I don't think it was in Jude. I'm almost positive it's in Jasher. Okay, remember now, Joseph was a slave in Egypt. And see, this is information that, again, they keep in other books that they don't want you to read, right? Um, this kind of tells on them when they're talking about demon possession is pretty much a sign of demon possession is when you can speak a language you're not supposed to, that you never learned or whatever else, right? Well, Joseph was a slave, and then all of a sudden he read the dream of the Pharaoh, and then he was going to be elevated to second in command. All right, this isn't in the Bible. This is probably actually in the book of Jasher. Okay, um, well, there were people who were plotting against Joseph, and they're like, "Hey, he shouldn't be second in command because pretty much he doesn't speak our language. He doesn't speak like he needed to learn all these different languages, because he needed to be able to, if he was going to be second in command, he needed to be able to communicate with all these different people, and he didn't speak all these different languages, so." That was kind of like a roadblock. You know how it is, like when they want to mess us up and they try to they put new rules in so we can't we can't ascend. So and if like all of a sudden, oh well, he doesn't speak these 50 different languages that we have here. So if he can't speak these languages, then he can't be second in command. So I think Most High sent an angel to Joseph and taught Joseph all of these languages like overnight. He learned like all these languages. You guys remember that? Yes. An angel taught him 70. It was a 70, right? 70 different languages, like overnight. It was in Jasher, right? So overnight, yes, there you go. So he like from one day speaking for what, one language or whatever else to the next day speaking 70 languages, right? Now, I'm sure right there just blew the minds of of his adversaries, right? That he can learn all those languages overnight. But so now you fast forward to now. What do they say is a sign of demon possession? Oh, being able to speak a language that you didn't, that you've never been exposed to before, but then all of a sudden, you already got it up there. Thank you so much, Jasher 48, 40, 48, 47. There you go. I said that's why this channel is so awesome. I said, people, you're not going to get this kind of who else is going to be talking about Jasher? Who else is going to be talking about learning, Joseph learning 70 languages overnight? Where else are you going to get that? And not only are you going to get that information, and then here in the chat, you're going to get the brothers and sisters here who are actually going to tell you exactly where that's at. You see that? You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, this is absolutely beautiful. This is exactly how it's supposed to be. Us working together to give more knowledge, understanding. It isn't about one person sitting here. Hey, you guys all need to sit there and listen to me. I have all the answers. That's not what this is about. This is about us as a people coming together and actually bringing knowledge, understanding to the world, because that's what we have been set up here to do. 3,000 proverbs and 1,500 songs. Yes, exactly. He wrote way more than what they have in the Bible. Exactly. But that's a beautiful thing. But so if you think of it like, hey, Joseph was taught 70 languages overnight. So according to what the Catholic Church says and what the priests say, that would be like a sign of demonic activity, would it not? Because that's what they say. Like if you could speak a certain language, and you didn't know it before, then that's a sign of demonic activity. But actually, for us, it was a blessing. It was a blessing to be able to speak to all these different people. But did that not happen also in Acts? In the book of Acts, when the Holy Spirit came down and all of a sudden, right, the apostles were speaking to all these different people and they could all understand them in their different languages. So would that not also somehow sound like some kind of demon possession? Exactly, like when Neo was downloaded on the Matrix. You start putting the information together. That's what they're showing you about Neo, getting all these languages, primordial languages, ancient languages, exactly. And see, this was something that was huge, and I think I did a video on that already about the dark languages and how our people were able to have these discussions, right? And the other people were around, and they didn't have the understanding. they didn't understand the language. So they were all pissed off and upset because our people had these other languages that the other rest of the world could not speak. And see now, and someone had made a comment, and this is so true because my wife said the same thing, was that, you know, now you understand like why, like if you were speaking your native language around these people who only spoke English, how they would get so upset. How they would get so upset because they couldn't understand what you were saying. You're having a conversation in Spanish or some other language that they don't understand, and they were pissed off, and that's why they were passing laws, English only. We only speak English here. You know, you're only going to speak this language. You're not going to speak your native languages. You're only going to speak, you know, the language that we have approved for you. You see, this is like a spiritual thing, right? The Lord of the Rings spoke of dark language, of Saruman, of Sauron, You see, like they put these things in these movies, and they're not getting it on their own. They get triggered fast. Exactly, Jesse Yasharali. Exactly, they got triggered fast with that, right? Because this, you know, it goes with their spirit. Because these are things that our people were doing a long time ago. We were doing these kinds of things in ancient times. We were speaking a language that they had no idea how to break down. They had no idea how, you know, to understand it. So therefore, if you go, you know, so this is happening during the time of the Druids, when they were the ones who were actually, you know, the judges. So this shows you that this is something that's in the spirit. This is something that's in their spirit that's been around for a very long time. You see, this whole thing with language and how important it was, and how they try to use that against us as far as like from, you know, the ascension of Joseph, right? But the Most High blessed him with learning 70 languages overnight. Then they made it sound like if you could speak a language that you didn't know before, that was somehow demonic, as opposed to being a blessing from the Most High. That's somehow demonic. You see what I'm saying? Like it's everything's backwards. You know, getting things super fast is something that happened, and they put it in movies like The Matrix. Something you got like, you know, instantaneous. You see? So like I said, when you start to read other books, and then you start to apply that, because everything just repeats itself, correct? If things are just repeating themselves over and over again. So just like they were upset about our Druid brothers and sisters, you know, being able to speak another language that they weren't allowed. I mean, not only then them only speaking their own languages, them communicating with each other, kept them out of the loop, right? Kept our information, you know, because we were the ones who had the esoteric understanding, correct? So therefore, that esoteric information was not for everyone to have. So it would make sense that we would have a language that other nations would not be able to understand. Exactly, Tower of Babel language just switched up in an instant, exactly. But you see what I'm saying? Like the language is very important. And you remember, like, I want to say the leader of the FBI, you guys can put it in the chat, was talking about like the main thing that they were so worried about was when they say our people coming together, and like communicating with each other. It was always about keeping us away from each other. It's always about keeping us from actually coming together. With that J. Edgar Hoover, who's like, that was like the biggest threat to them, was us actually coming together and speaking together and communicating with each other. So that makes sense as to why it's so important for them to keep us separated, to always keep us fighting, right? They couldn't read our writings, so yeah, transcribing was necessary, exactly. And then forcing us to speak another language, their language. And see, now when you start to go back to like roots, and you know, talking about Toby, and your name is Toby, and he was saying my name was Kunta Kinte. You really think that's what it was? No, it was Hoover, right? It was about us being separated from our original language, and it wasn't some African dialect or African language. They were getting us away from our esoteric languages, our esoteric understanding. Exactly, they beat our history out of us, exactly. Unless you guys talk in the chat, I'm trying to take care of something really quick. Trying to get this thing to burn some more, but I don't know if I can get it on. see if you can get this on for me. Not you. Not you. Your mom. My wife has the magic touch here. Hopefully she can get this back on for us. Nope. If it works, it works. If not, that's cool. You recheck him out. But you see like how all this information, all goes hand in hand and it's all coming together, right? Here. What happened? There we go. Thank you. Can we put the song back on? The song back on? Thank you. There we go. Here we go. I got it going again. Not this one. Psalm 141. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. All right. So we got it going again. Looks like some meth. Helps to keep the good spirits here, gets the bad ones away. I don't know.
When I suffer thy foot to be moved, he that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Oh, thank you, Love Abides. I appreciate you. I just started using these little charcoal things last week, so I just usually just burn the sage, but this actually works much better. It creates a lot more smoke. And that's so true, David. Davida Braxton putting on the whole armor. The whole armor is all these different things, bringing all these things to bear, You two have a blessed evening, getting all of our armor together, all the things that we used to have before. Burning some copal right now. It's definitely our time to walk in it. Our authority of the Most High, exactly. The best is yet to come. And you know, you should already be seeing how the Most High is already blessing us, you know, with so much more knowledge and understanding. Definitely. An essential oil diffuser as well. Yes. Constantly learning, constantly evolving, exactly. Portal for elevation, beautiful. Mm-hmm. Hey, what's up, brother 12? Good seeing you. Burning a little copal over here. Spending some time with the family. It's so true. When you walk in the authority the Father gave you, you will burn them up with your light. Very true. Very true, I am. I think as a people, we need to start doing that. Yes, sir, definitely. We're going to get together real soon. You know, and that's the thing, like, I think that's like the whole pot. Oh, hold on, this. Us coming together, you know, talking about the positive things the Father is doing is so important because, you know, you're getting all the negative. I said, but the Father is moving and bringing up so much information, so much understanding, that I just look at all the blessings that the Most High is giving us daily right now. You know, this knowledge, understanding is absolutely amazing, and you know, I see how the world wants to try to diminish this awakening, and they want to try to marginalize it and make it seem as if you know, it's not growing, and we know it's the total opposite. Everything is the opposite of what they're showing. Like all of a sudden, like the views of my videos have gone like down by thousands just all of a sudden. But what's funny is this: if you look at like a lot of other videos and you look at the likes that they get, they'll get like maybe 600, 700 likes and have like 20 or 30,000 views. Usually for my videos, it's been like, I noticed, which is funny, is that about 10, usually was 10%. Like if I got 1,000 likes, I'd get 10,000 views. And that would be pretty consistent for quite a while. If I got 1,100 likes, I'd get like 11,000 views. Now all of a sudden it's like, I get like 950, almost 1,000 likes, but only 6,000 views. You know, so it just shows you like that they're trying their best to try to marginalize this awakening. I said, you know, it doesn't matter what they say as far as numbers are concerned. I said, because people will be making videos about absolutely nothing and supposedly getting millions and millions of people watching their videos. If that's true, hey, good for them. But it just shows you that what the Most High is doing, they're trying to diminish it. They're trying to make it seem like, oh no, no one's looking at this information. Nobody wants to hear this. Go just talk about just the Bible only and do that, and then, you know, your views will go back up or whatever else, because we're getting into more information. And the thing is that the more information that the Most High gives us, the more understanding that we get. And you're trying to say that people, you know, don't want understanding? People want to hear the same things over and over and over again. You know, you're trying to marginalize the Most High. You know, you're trying to make it seem as if the Most High only speaks to us with the 66 books that you've approved for us, and that he doesn't speak to us any other way. And now the Most High has given us more and more understanding. And you don't think more people want that? You don't think in these times that there are not more people out here looking for some truth out here? You know, I didn't even see that Yankee up. Really, I didn't. I just did a search for Big Judah on YouTube. It's strange. What is it? That he's not in the alphabetical order. But like I said, that just shows you that what the Most High is giving us, they don't want the world to see. They don't want the world to know. And he said, what we're bringing is knowledge and understanding, for the entire world. Now, whoever, gets the information and understanding and does anything with it, that's between you and the Father. That's between you and the Most High. I said, all we can do is the Most High gives me information or gives me understanding, and I just try to share it. And then if it calls to your spirit, then you will do the research and you will start to actually, dive down that rabbit hole. I said, because ultimately I'm not doing anything. All I do, Most High will, if sometimes I get a book, I just open it up to a page, and that'll be just some information that I think the Most High wants me to share, and I'll just share it with you. And then if you're called to get more information, then the Most High will, put it in your spirit to go into that topic even deeper. I said, so it's kind of like that's how the Most High has been working with me. So I don't pretend to act like I have all the understanding, because I don't. I don't pretend to act like I'm an expert on all this stuff. I'm not. All I do is, hey, this is the information that the Most High gave me. I'm going to give it to you, and go with it from there. But see, Israel already has so many people that have so much information and so much understanding, and now it's beautiful because now we can come together and share it in like one place for others to see. I know there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people who come here and look at your guys' comments and these lives. There are thousands of people that come in here and look at the lives and look at the information that you guys are putting up and go and research it. You know what I'm saying? I said, because you guys all have your niche. You guys have all been blessed with understanding. So it's a place where the rest of the world can come in and see what we're talking about, see the information that we're bringing out. I said, I don't have all this understanding. I said, so the Most High will definitely bring someone here who has a certain understanding of whatever topic it is that we're talking about, and they'll bring that information. Just like I wasn't sure exactly where I could have found it, the story about Joseph and the 70 languages, but someone right here, bam, right here. Zachariah Stitching books, right? And I haven't even been able to read them like I want to, but that was something that opened up a door for you, brother 12. You see what I'm saying? Like, Most High's got me in so many different things, that there's no way that one person can get all this information and understanding. And see, and that's another thing in that movie about the Pope's exorcist. Because at the end, he's like, oh, they're going to go after the other 199 fallen angels. He's like, well, this is just too much for one priest in a lifetime. I need, someone else. So he picked a young priest. All right. Well, this is the same for us. This awakening is way more than just what one person can do. So therefore, he brings all of us together, and we all come together and we work together to bring knowledge, understanding. Everyone has their niches. Everyone has their understanding. And just like I started talking about frequencies, and all of a sudden, I had all these brothers and sisters bringing out all this information about, the different frequencies and the different information, because they all have all this information. Some of us have so much information that we can't share because there's so few people around us that we can share it with, that you weren't given that information, for the people around you, possibly, but you got that information so you can bring it here. So you can bring it here, and you can put that information here in the chat. Because trust me, you don't think that, right now it says there's only 488 people here. Do you really believe that's all that's here? You really believe that that's all that's here? With all this knowledge, understanding that's coming out right now in the chat, all this information that's coming out in the live, and you're trying to say there's only 488 people, because it hasn't moved. The numbers have been stay right there. Before, we used to get 900, 1,000 people, over 1,000 people, and I'm sure we have even more than that. I said, because like I said, it's not about me, it's about we. It's about us as a people. And if, like the Most High says, the world here, like it says in 2nd Esdras 8:1, this world was made for many. Okay, the world to come is made for few, right? But the few are going to be teaching the many. The few are going to be teaching the many. So that's why I know there's going to be a lot more people here than just the 491 that they say are here. I said, because we have a lot of people who are bringing out a lot of information, especially here in the chat, to give you more understanding. To give more understanding. You know, and like I said, the Most High has blessed all of us with our niches and our information, and yeah, you have a place to come and bring it and share it. Just like even like in the comments, I mean, like, you know, oh, there's only 60 people that make comments in your video. Like only 60 people. I said, I find that hard to believe, but that's okay. It doesn't, the numbers don't matter. The numbers to me don't matter, or whatever else. So it doesn't matter. You know, I said when I started this channel years ago, you know, my son and I, he was helping me with it. We're like, okay, if we get 100 views, we'll make another video. So we used to be on like, okay, if I just got like 100 views, I would then make another video. So I would wait till we get to like 100 views, and then we would make another video, you know? And I mean, we were getting videos, you know, years ago, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 views, you know? But like when the views are always the same amount, you know, what I get is this, I get 10,000 views a day. This is how it works. They give me 10,000 views a day. Now, if I do 2 videos that day, that means each video will only get 5,000 views. If I do a short and a couple of videos, that'll be about 3,000 to 4,000 views for each video. Because it's just gonna, you know, you get 10,000, but we're gonna, you know, divvy it up between the videos you do that day. Because like last weekend, I did 2 lives on Saturday. And what was funny was each live only got 5,000 views each. So I was like, oh, so, you know, I said, that's funny. I said, you know, because I see exactly how it works, you know. So that's how it works, and it's pretty funny. So if you go back and look at the ones from last weekend, you'll see, oh, he did 2 videos. He did 2 videos. Okay, it's just 5,000 each. That's it. So like I said, I see how it works, you know. But the thing is this: the truth is getting out. It doesn't matter how many people they say are watching. I said, you know how we know the truth is getting out? By looking at the state of the world, looking at the state of how things are going for the other nations, and then look at how things are going for us. We are getting more knowledge, understanding. You know, we're getting so much more knowledge, understanding. Because that's why we can look at things talking about demons and how the demon is really us as a people. You know, I said, so because the demon was saying certain things that we would say as a people. Yeah, they're doing definitely the same thing to Abdullah Seer. Exactly. They're doing it to all of us. It's not just me. They do it to all of us, you know? So like the numbers are always the same. You're trying to say that's it? That's, you know, I said, so it doesn't matter. But like I said, when you start to listen to like the things in that movie, you know, and it's like the demon saying, your sins will find you out. Your sins will find you out. Pretty much, that's not what we say as a nation. You know, all the things you've done to us, you know, the Most High is going to expose. All the things you've been trying to hide, the Most High is going to expose. Now see, who's going to expose you guys? Who's going to expose these things? Well, you did those things to us, so therefore the Most High, you know, DNA has memory. So as we come back, the Most High, you know, reactivates our DNA, reactivates our memories, you know, and then gives us more knowledge, understanding in order for us to find our way back to the Father, right? So that's why you can tell that as we're rising and we're growing, and the rest of the nations are actually, you know, are falling apart even more and more. As every day that they keep on trying to force themselves into prophecy, and every day, you know, it gets proven that they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. That just shows you more and more that these books aren't theirs. The understanding was never given to them, and the Most High is exposing them day by day. When the Most High made that bridge between Paul and the Druids, that opened up all this history and all this understanding that has been hidden. That was a huge accomplishment for us as a people. When the sister got us that the Black Celts book, and we got that Acts 29, and we see how Paul was meeting with the Druids, and those were our people, and you start to do some research on the practices of the Druids. You know, everything is for the other nations it was all paganism. But the thing was is that all these other nations, all they did was copy what the Druids were doing. So if they were nothing but pagans and they were supposedly, devil worshippers and this and that, then why did you take all those practices and put them in your church? Why did you take all the practices of the Druids and put them in your church? Why did you take the information about the stars and the zodiacs and put that? You guys use that information. You guys are using the information about the zodiacs because that's telling you when to do certain things. That's telling you when to act and do certain things. When you guys do certain sacrifices and stuff like that, you guys are using the information that we used to have, and you're using it for yourself because you're hoping to get the blessings that we used to get, and the things that you're doing. You guys, your Christian religions is nothing but sun worship. You say it's S-O-N, but it's actually S-U-N. It's just sun worship. You're doing the same things that our people did. And we'll get into that as well. All you did was change names of the people that we had stories about. You just changed the name and told the same stories. When you talk about your mythology and where you got these, these mythical stories from and things like that, all you did was you took it from us, switched up the names, and voila, all of a sudden now you have a history. Nothing new under the sun, exactly. And that's why, these books, I said are really expensive. I said, but the Most High, it gives us, has us all working together to get this information and be able to share it. I said, I got brothers and sisters sending me links to other books and how to get other information and things like that. And we bring out even more information and more understanding. Like I said, this battle is not a physical one right now. It is a spiritual one. It is an intellectual battle. It is a battle for the hearts and minds of the chosen and the ones who are going to cleave to the chosen. The ones that have been called by the Most High is not going to lose any of them. So now that, like I said, when you start to actually look at the things that they say and you actually start to compare it to other scriptures that they have not canonized, it starts to make sense. It starts to connect. Just like Joseph and the 70 languages that he didn't know, that he learned overnight, was taught by an angel, they would recognize that as evil. But would they not? It would make sense that they would recognize it as evil because it went against their plans. They had plans of keeping Joseph away from being second in command in Egypt, and those plans were thwarted by the Most High. So therefore, that would be something that the other nations would look at as somehow evil. So all they do is just put our people and they just put scary makeup on them and make them look as if they're doing something evil because it goes against their plans. Just like Moses, they try to put him in these movies like, he was some kind of a hero, but in fact, speaking, them behind closed doors would look at him as someone evil because he would be like an adversary to the Egyptians. He was an adversary to the other nations. You see what I'm saying? They're fine. They're fine. They're fine. It's okay. Dogs are barking. So like I said, thank you guys. Thank you, family. I said, because trust me, there are plenty of people who are here, okay, who are looking at the things you guys are writing, looking at your comments, researching this information. The Most High is using all of us. He's using you as well to, to open up the eyes of other people that are here watching, the video, getting information, getting understanding. You know what I'm saying? How do you think? You just think of it. What other stations or what other channels are talking about Joseph and the 70 languages that he learned, overnight, and how that thwarted the plans of the people, the Egyptians, and then you go to today and it's the same thing, that they make it seem like those kinds of blessings are something evil. You're not gonna get that information from any other channel, because people aren't talking about that. They're talking about the same things over and over again because they're stuck in only doing what the other nations have told them they can do. And I'm sure you guys are speaking, talking about, the stones and the information, the frequencies and the numbers and all that stuff. That's all information talking about the Druids and Acts 29 and bringing that information together. You're not going to get that information on many other channels. I said, because that's not what they're called to do. Like I talk about Zachariah Zinchin, like Brother the 12 is talking about. So, you know what I mean? And that someone might see that and say, oh, I need to look into that. And they're going to go look into that, and they're going to realize there's all this other information that has been hidden. You see what I'm saying? The great music, exactly. Psalms 121, sung in ancient Hebrew. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, there's all this information that's coming out that the Most High is blessing us with, and that others, trust me, right now, hey, you guys have your opportunity to hear this in your own languages. You guys are getting opportunity to be able to do research in your own languages. I said, eventually, remember what the Most High said he's going to do? He's going to come and bring a new language, right? Now we understand like why he's bringing that new language, because we've lost ours and we need to get it all back. We need to get that understanding back. You see? Like I said, you start looking at the scriptures, you start looking at things that are written in there, you start to get a much better understanding as to why he has to, bring back our languages and give us back a new language, because we've lost all of ours. You see that? 267, huh? 15, which, all right, 6. Like I said, so now you're going to get a much better understanding of things. These movies come from the Bible, but they also come from many of the other books. Book of Enoch. They always love talking about the fallen angels, and making movies about that. But they're getting that information from the books of Enoch that they have, and they put it in their movies. And so it makes them put it in there. Just like Avatar, all that. The blue people, right? And the blue is actually the sign of heaven. So now you go back into India and how they have like their gods painted with blue skin, because they're aware of the color blue being associated with heaven. That's why they show that their gods are blue. And yellow and blue together, because the blue's kind of like in the middle, make green. Now you got your Hulk. Like I said, there's way more going on, and that's why we need to put on the whole armor, is to get into our rocks, get into our our frequencies, get into our cobalt and smoke baths and all that. It all works together. Yep, making all this money off of our history. Very true. Fringe is the border of blue. Exactly. Great connection right there. Book of Enoch is Prometheus. Like I said, they changed up all these names. They took our information, changed it up, and like I said, voila, it's all about them. The burning resin. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So it's all making sense, and it's all about putting that whole armor on once again. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go, though. We might come together again tomorrow. I'll let you guys know. Be looking out if I don't do another live. Maybe it'll be another video, a couple videos. We'll see. But we're just letting you guys know. Last Planet of the Apes says it all. Yes, like I said, it's all coming together. And that's why we, need to come back and be happy with what we're seeing, because like I said, the Most High has given us more knowledge, understanding to be able to get this understanding, and to be able to put it together as a family, and to be able to share it, and other people can see what's going on. All praise, Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.